Hey guys, got some old equipment which I'm repairing and restoring, and I found some old switches that were a bit not so good anymore because they're so old. This one dates back to the early 80s, and unfortunately I can't get this switch anymore. I can't buy it new. Often you find that with old equipment where it just needs some switches cleaned, and if you see with this one, it's completely sealed. You can't get in there to clean it, but there is still a way to get in. This one's a Matsushita, which is Panasonic before they became Panasonic, I believe. But you can see it's riveted. Sometimes you'll find where they've got a little tab, you can just kind of bend the tabs and open the thing up. But this one has rivets. So how can we clean it? Well, I'll show you how to do it. Take it apart. I'll show you what to do inside to get this thing back to brand new condition. It's pretty easy. Just need a few bits and pieces and yeah, a little bit of patience. So these rivets are actually aluminium, so that makes it very easy to cut the ends off and pull them out. And it turns out, I've already done one or two of these switches, it turns out these rivets are 2mm in diameter. So by using some M2 bolts or M2 screws, we can actually put it back together afterwards. So all we have to do is get a pair of flush cut cutters. You need the flush cut ones so you can get right close in and cut the very edge or the very end of that rivet off. Being aluminium, it will come off relatively easily. And do that for both the rivets. And then you can just push it out. Just like that. So your switch will be maybe a little bit different, but the general procedure will be the same. And if you've got tabs you can unbend without having to cut the rivets, you can do that, and then the cleaning process will probably be very similar once you've got it open. So we've got this the kind of bracket that has the screw holes and it holds the whole thing together. We'll take that off, put that aside out the way, and our two rivets here. So we'll put those out the way. They're rubbish now, we don't need them anymore. If I carefully just separate this, where are we? Okay, so we'll have to open one side up. And when I do that, I can separate that out. And we'll do one side at a time. So that's our switch inside. You can see, if I get a screwdriver, the switch presses down here, and it opens that contact up. Now the contact's in there, that's what we're going to be cleaning. So now the old switches you'll often find are made of bakelite, not plastic. Now bakelite is very brittle, it doesn't flex, it just breaks. So you've got to be very careful when you're taking things apart. This has got two little tabs, see the tab just there at the end of my pliers and a tab there. It's got that on both sides, so they go into notches inside the bakelite. You can't go sideways and wiggle it out. You've got to pull it straight up and out, otherwise you'll break it. So you've got to just try and pull it up without going like this. So that's one of our contacts, and the other one is on this side here. So we'll put that bakelite out the way. Now these are what we have to clean. You've got just that little bit at the bottom, just there, and then you've also got this little pad here. You can see that's a bit black there, it's a bit charred, just from the arcing from 20 or 30 years worth of use. So what I'd like to do is get a little bit of emery paper, very fine, maybe some 1000 grit or 1200 grit, and then we can put that flat and just lightly, very lightly draw that over, and you'll see that it comes up nice and shiny on the end there. So that one's good. Sometimes you'll see some pitting, like it'll be a little, like a divot in there from the arcing or from the pressure of the contacts closing. If you can get it clean, that's perfect. If you can get it flat, that's even better. Don't take too much off because there's a little pad there. You don't want to go right down to to this spring copper or that brass or whatever it is. You want to keep a little pad that's, you know, on older switches I often use a little silver alloy, which gives good conduction and is resistant to the arcing. So you don't want to take that too much of that off, but give it a little bit of a polish. And then also on this one, you'll see this one is rounded. If maybe I can hold that up close. Yeah, you can see it's kind of rounded there. So that's going to give us, one pad is flat and the other is round like that, so they touch like this. So we don't want to flatten that one off. So I'm going to do that with my finger. I'm not going to put on something flat. I'm going to kind of just like this over the top of that mound, that hump. Just to clean that off until it's nice and shiny. And that will ensure a perfect connection. I've also done the motion of, you know, cleaning it with the emery paper in the same direction, so any grooves are going to be touching like this, not like that. That's going to give us a bit nicer closing, a bit closer meshing of the two halves. Alright, then also what I like to use is deoxit. This here will get rid of oxidation, and also if you leave a little bit in there, not much, just a tiny bit, it will also help to prevent it from reoccurring. So I'll get a tissue. There's actually a Kim wipe, a nice tissue for electronics. It doesn't fall apart when you get it wet. I'll just put a bit of that on there. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. And once you've cleaned it, don't touch those contacts anymore, because the oils from your fingers can cause them to oxidize. You actually see that starting to go a bit discolored there because as I'm cleaning off all the oxidation. Alright, so that's clean. Now we can put it back together and do the other side. Being careful because once again it's bakelite and we don't want to cause it to crack. So that's in there nice. Alright, I'll go ahead and do the other side and I'll be back and I'll show you how to put it back together. So I've got 2 halves of the switch all done here. There's a double pole single throw, so 1 and 2 poles. Now this here had a little bit of grease on the end, on these little tabs here. That was just to give it a little bit more of a smoother ride over the metal so it wouldn't wear out. So I'm going to use this alcohol pad here. I'm going to clean off the old grease and then I'll be replacing it with some new silicone grease. I've got this one here. It's in Japanese, but it's a white silicone grease, which is safe on the plastic and on the metal. So I'll give that a bit of a clean. Get all the old stuff off. And then just a little bit of a squirt. Not too much. Alright. And then it's a matter of getting this thing back together. That way. Off, on, off. You can see the action of the mechanism inside. You've got to turn that. That's off, on, off, on. It's a little bit tricky because it's a double pole, so I've got to do it in stages. That's basically it back together. Pretty easy. Now we can put our cover on. Look at that. Alright, now it's a matter of getting our screws. I'm going to put a little bit of low strength Loctite. It's all in Japanese, so I'll put L for low. Purple stuff anyway. Just on those so they don't come loose. Just a tiny little bit of Loctite. Don't need much when it's an M2 screw. And stick our washers and then our nuts. Tighten them up, not too tight. And then just cut off the excess. These are very small screws, so and they're soft as well, so it's not going to damage these surface cutters, the flush cutters. We'll cut them flush, and there we go. Look at that. Pretty good. Feels good. All back together as it should. All we got to do is test it. Alright, got the old fluke here on beep mode. So we'll hook this up to the switch and see what it does. So put that one in there and that one in there, and we'll switch it on. 0 ohms. Perfect. And the other side, what's this one saying? On. 0 ohms as well. Awesome. Perfect. That's working beautifully. Alright. I'll stick that back in the device it came from, and it should be all good to go. So I hope you found that useful. We'll see you next time.